Have you ever heard the statement, wherever you go, there you are? Well, it has to do with those pesky emotions. And we can spend a lot of time, and I think it's time well spent, where we actually look at our physical environment. We create content filters, we remove our access to problematic websites or social media apps, and we do our best to create a safe environment. But the challenge is, wherever we go, there we are. And there are certain emotions that wherever we go crop up that continually lead us and prepare us for acting out. So today on Finding Traction, we want to deal with those pesky emotions. Welcome aboard.
Ready?
When it comes to porn, are you stuck, spinning out, or slipping backwards in your life? If so, then welcome to the Finding Traction podcast, a show dedicated to those who are looking to gain recovery momentum away from porn and toward the life and relationships they have always hoped for. Now, here's your host, Vern Tomke.
Well, here at Band of Brothers, there's a number of ways that we want to help you if you are seeking a better life and moving away from problematic porn use. One of those is our Finding Traction group, which is a 52-week video course that you can go ahead and look at. You can purchase. You can walk through with some buddies or on your own. And it's, again, a 52-week course. One of the episodes is the topic we want to deal with today. Another way you can do it, and maybe way more effective, is for you to join one of our Finding Traction groups. Usually I lead those groups, and together you with 5 or 6 other guys will be able to walk through the material, learn from not just me, but from other guys, and you'll journey together and find a supportive help network. Currently we have a Wednesday group which is open, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, that if you're interested in, you can connect with me. And all of this, you can find out, get information on this, but also a whole bunch of free resources on our Circle Learning platform. And if you look at the show notes, you can sign up for Circle and you can get access to not just all of the podcasts, but a number of worksheets that we've developed, planning tools that can be of aid to you as well. All of that, if you're interested, if you want to find out more, for example, about our groups or the course, reach out to me at bandofbrothers.care@gmail.com. Okay, so I want to go back to this idea of our pesky emotions, and again, I'm not meaning to diss the idea that we've got to create safe environments. One of the word pictures I've used on previous podcasts is the idea of a racing car engine or an engine that has got problems. And when you take it in and you're trying to figure out what's going on, the very first thing the mechanic does is he tells you, okay, well, let's turn that engine off. And so many guys have an engine that just won't turn off. It's like run on the old vehicles. I remember you turn them off and they would still kind of keep running. And the reason is because we have all sorts of things in our immediate environment where they're just impulse. We find ourselves reaching out for that Instagram account or that those Facebook reels or that website or whatever it is. And it's just like autopilot is just a second, one bad decision away. And we just find that until we can create a safe environment, we don't have an opportunity to actually get our engine turned off. But then following this example, once the engine's turned off, I know with my vehicle, there's this thing that you can plug in a computer, and it gives you error codes. And in those error codes, then it gives the service mechanic an idea as to what needs to change. And one of those things that we have to examine is internal. What are our internal emotions that for us are so problematic? And I want to look at this in three parts, and I want to walk through them. The first one is I want to talk about problematic emotions. And those are many and varied and really are, there's no end to them, different shades of them. We use a feeling wheel and there's about 60 to 80 different emotions on there. But there are certain emotions which for you are emotional triggers. They prime you, they set you up for wanting to act out. So that's the first thing we want to talk about. What are those emotions? The second thing is, how does porn purport to meet that emotion? How does it medicate that emotion if it's a negative, or how does it address that for you? And it does. Porn addresses that. It medicates that. It meets that emotional need. Maybe not well. It doesn't serve you well, but in the short term, it promises that, and it meets it in a dysfunctional and obviously destructive way. And the third one is, what is a better way that you can meet that need, you can meet that emotion that doesn't lead to that porn hangover? So those three things again are, what are those problematic emotions for you? How does porn seek to address that emotion? And thirdly, what is a better way for you to meet that real emotional place that you're in? So first of all, you've heard a number of different acronyms, there that have been given. And so HALT is one. HALT could be hungry or horny. I don't know. I guess being physically hungry could do that. But there's emotions like A for anger or irritableness, or, feeling on edge. That can be an emotion. Loneliness is a huge emotion for people. That's an emotion, that feeling of I'm all alone. Being tired or fatigued. That's a physical thing, but there's also an emotion. I think sometimes young people use the term burnout a little too often. That's kind of my older person thoughts. When I was younger, it meant something different, but we'll just go with that term, burnout. I think that can be an emotion. Fatigue makes cowards. It makes weaklings of us, right? Stress or anxiety, when you're feeling overwhelmed, that's an emotion. You got too many things coming at you. Boredom or restlessness. Those are examples of, and those are emotions. That's really problematic for people. Or it could be elation or happiness. That's an emotion. For some people, that becomes, problematic for them. So you could come up with your own, and I encourage you to go, if none of those fit, ask yourself, the last time that I relapsed, the last time that I started to engage in edging, can I identify, was there an emotion which preceded that? Now, it could be simply that you had an open device right in front of you, and you just looked at it at impulse. And we already kind of addressed that. But we're talking here about a bit of a deeper dive. What was the emotion that preceded that? It's one of the reasons why, again, we work with guys when we do our check-ins on our Finding Traction groups, helping guys to get a clear sense of their emotions. And some guys go, well, I just wanted to do it. Okay. Well, why did you want to do it? What was the emotion behind that? Let's start with an obvious one as an example. Let's say you're bored or feeling restless. Well, that's one that a lot of us could identify. And so the second part of this exercise is not just identifying that, but you go, how does porn medicate or promise to meet that emotion? Or what does porn have to say to that emotion? Well, boredom, for example, is, I have no stimulation in my life. I'm restless. I need some, what? I need some excitement. I need some adrenaline. I need a pick-me-up, something to lift my day up. So what porn is offering you in that emotion is a jolt. It's a Red Bull. It is something to offer a spark. It's something to give you, a bit of a shot, right? It's some excitement. It's a roller coaster, rather than a carousel. So that's what porn offers to how it offers to meet that need. If you're going to loneliness, what does porn offer you in that place of loneliness? Well, it offers you, I guess, a version of comfort, doesn't it? It's a blankie. It's a binky. It's a something. I feel lonely. It's how I suck my thumb. It's something that I wrap myself in for a while, and I don't feel lonely anymore. It promises that. It meets it, yes, in an unsatisfactory way, but it does meet it in some transient way when you start out. What about being tired or fatigued? Well, that's the one thing. I could stay up all night watching porn. If I was tired or I was feeling, it's a little bit of that idea of excitement, but boy, it gave me a shot of something. I was never too tired or too fatigued to look at porn. And so in one sense, it offered me some sort of pseudo energy in that place. Okay, take the emotion of stress and anxiety. Let's say, for example, that stress and anxiety comes from me feeling that I've just got too many things on my plate. I'm feeling overwhelmed from all of the different demands that I have on my time. Well, what does porn offer? It certainly doesn't offer you a way of getting things done, right? But it does offer you perhaps a way of just shoving that out of your mind and procrastinating and putting that out of your mind so you feel momentary relief from all of those demands, right? When you're feeling overwhelmed, the emotion, maybe it offers you a temporary escape. Beam me up, Scotty. It offers you a way of escaping those unpleasant realities in your life. So with all of these things, you see where I'm going with that is if you can identify the emotion. Let's say anger, for example. Let's say you're angry at your wife, or a conversation went badly and you're feeling just pissed off that she doesn't understand you, or all of the things that you're doing that are not, recognized. Well, for example, whether you want to admit this or not, porn could be an example of a way of getting back. It could be a way of, well, you know what? You're not going to care for my needs, so this is my way of caring for my needs. And it's my way of just saying, well, there. I'm just going to do it anyways. It's my way of maybe passively aggressively doing it, very passively aggressively, but I'm expressing anger, discontentment, that emotion in my life. And even some people would say, you think that when things are going really well and you're feeling elation or joy, you're going, well, that should really keep you on the straight and narrow, right? But it's not uncommon for people who've had a lot of things go right, maybe a big win at work, or winning a promotion, or a contract going really well, something like that. And emotion, and porn becomes a way of saying, rewarding yourself. You go, well, that's kind of a self-sabotaging way of rewarding yourself, but yet it's something that you learned that you were as a part of that. It's like one of the things that I used to notice Friday at the end of the week, when all of my jobs were done, I had finished all of my to-dos. Porn was the pull to porn was especially strong because it was like, I've done everything that I needed to do. I'm rocking it. This is really good. It's time for some me time to say, well done. This is, the cherry on top of my week. So what, I hope you see is, first of all, you ask yourself, what are those emotions? If I look at my last relapse, what is that emotion which partly primed me for wanting to act out? The second thing is I've associated porn with that for so long because in one sense, porn does offer itself as a solution for that emotion. Either it offers an escape from it, or it badly, mind you, but it purports to medicate that and make me feel better, even for a period of time. So it's worthwhile asking yourself, okay, how is porn being a Band-Aid for me in that emotion? But the third one, and I think this is where the real magic comes in, so to speak, is for us to say, okay, recognizing that first thing and recognizing the second thing, how is it and how can I, in this emotional state, because it's going to come back, emotions will hit you, they'll be there again. You can always guarantee that whatever emotions you felt in the past, you're going to feel again. The emotions aren't going to go away. So you ask yourself, okay, when I have this emotional trigger, when I'm in this emotional state, then how can I begin to meet that emotion and deal with that emotion in a non-porn way, in a way that leaves me better off rather than worse off, in a way that leads me to waking up the next morning feeling proud of myself and feeling good about myself, rather than with a hangover that goes, oh my goodness, I can't believe I did that again. So you go through the same things. So, okay, well, boredom, we already did that. Okay, boredom, is one of the things, that restlessness feeling. This is what porn offers to meet. Okay, how can I meet the need for, in boredom, in restlessness, in a better way? In a healthier way? Is there some joy that I can connect with? Is there something that I enjoy that I can do? Now, you go, well, it's not going to be quite the same. Okay, fair enough. I've heard crystal meth gives quite a buzz. It's an amazing feeling, apparently. I've talked to some ex-crystal meth people, and they go, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's 13. Yeah, but it causes your teeth to fall out and mental illness and a few other things. But boy, there's nothing like the buzz of crystal meth, and I get it. It's not going to be the 13, but is there something that you can find at a 7 or 8 that you go, you know what? When I'm bored or restless, this is a way that I can engage with some joy. I can engage with some passion in my life. One of the questions we ask guys in groups every week is, first of all, what did you do this week that inspired joy? And what are you looking forward to this week? If all you're doing is cutting things out of your week, it's just going to leave you more bored and restless than ever. So deal with that emotion in a proactive way. Right? In terms of that, elation or happiness, if you find yourself rewarding yourself, let's say Friday afternoon or something, come up with another great reward. Come up with something that is a better way of saying attaboy, is a better way of dealing with those emotions. As an example of that. Okay, I have stress, anxiety, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Well, one of the things that there's apparently this is a common practice that sexual addiction therapists they do, is they ask people, where are you feeling undone in your environment or your personal craziness index? So one of the things that I've noticed, when I start feeling overwhelmed, everything feels in a disordered state. My workshop feels in a disordered state. My office here feels in a disordered state. And sometimes, rather than procrastinating through porn, I can say, what are the one or two things that I can do in the short term to give me some easy wins that can help me feel more in control of my life, right? That it's cleaning my desk off, or I had this big pile of unfiled papers the other day, and I had a couple hours that opened up, and I just filed that whole box of papers, and it made me feel, emotionally it made me feel better. Now that may be a little OCD, but you get the idea. Other times people go, okay, it may need something a little bit more proactive and a bigger picture. So if you're constantly in a place of feeling like you have no margin, feeling like you have way too many things on your plate, well, guess what? Maybe you have too many things on your plate. And you have to take an honest look at your life and go, if my life is making me feel overwhelmed, is there some things that I can, in a healthy way, either delegate or stop doing, or to give me a greater sense of margin in my life? Now, you might not be familiar with the term margin. It's used in the area of self-care, but it basically says you don't have the words run to the very edge of the page. You have margins. And in the same way in your life, you need margins between the edge of the page and where the words are. And if you have margins, you will feel a lot safer, a lot better, and your emotions will be a lot more positive, which will in turn help you feel more in control, and in turn give you more fortitude for dealing with those porn impulses and urges. So all of those are ways that we talk and deal with our emotions. Wherever you go, there you are. You're going to have all of these emotions. But I encourage you to say, the next time I feel the urge to act out, ask yourself, what are the emotions? Even say it out loud. What emotion am I feeling right now? What's going on with me that's setting me up for feeling this way? Then ask yourself, and what is porn offering me in terms of this emotion? Right? And then thirdly, go, is there a better way, a healthier way that I can address this emotion that doesn't leave me with that dry mouth hangover the next morning that makes me, want to kick myself and go, there I go again. So hopefully that's helpful. Again, I'd love to hear from you. My email is bandofbrothers.care. I'd love to help you, love to connect with you. And here's towards dealing with those pesky emotions. We'll see you next time.